Thank you so much for joining us in Much Out Loud Ottawa. That was Subtle Dance Moves from Ilvekyo. He's going to be playing at Blues Fest on July 12th. He was recently named one of the best acts to watch in 2013 by the Horseshoe Tavern. So my buddies recently saw him in Guelph and said he was just an incredible showmanship. He's Ottawa born and raised. So you can see him next in Ottawa, May 11th and 12th weekend at the Heart and Crown. His name is Mason Quesnel, and so absolutely great band. So thank you very much for joining us. My name is Nick Bachuski.
I'm Andrew Miller, and we're sitting here joined with Jan Dervik, CEO and owner of NRML Clothing. How you doing, Jan?
I'm good. Thanks for having me today, guys.
Thanks for having us. Great office.
Oh, again, we're sponsored by Bo's Beer today, so I think we're going to have to change the name to Liquid Lunch in Loud Ottawa real soon.
Thank you so much to Tim Duncan and the boys from Bo's.
Yeah, I was like, Tim Duncan. We're sponsored by San Antonio Spurs ex-players. Anyway, so let's get to know Jan a little bit. I know you're not from Ottawa originally. Let's hear a little bit about, real quick, where you grew up and what brought you here to Ottawa.
So I'm born and raised in Windsor, Ontario, by two parents that were actually foreign to Windsor themselves, both from Europe, and that led to a lot of traveling as a child, and
that's why you're a Lions fan.
That's why I'm a Lions fan. I'm looking at my mouse pad here going, what's that about? So yeah, grew up border city with Detroit, Michigan. Spent a lot of my youth hanging out there, going to concerts, hanging out with a lot of friends, and my mom being French and me wanting to pursue some post-secondary French myself, I came up to Ottawa and went to the University of Ottawa.
Sweet. What'd you take in university there in Ottawa?
Yeah, so we started with a BCom in commerce, and halfway through that project or that school, one of my classes was actually an entrepreneurial class. And
who was teaching that class? Was it Daze?
To be honest, I don't remember the professor's name.
Daze?
I can't say for sure.
Okay,
it's been a minute now. We're going on almost 15 years. So, anyways, one of the projects in that class was to do a retail setting, and we kind of came up with the concept of NRML, doing a retail setting in Ottawa, in the market, and we pitched it to the professor, got a C on it. My partners in the class didn't really believe in the project. I quit school, and next thing you know, we're opening NRML Clothing.
That's awesome. So we'll get back to more about NRML in just a second, but what made you stick around in Ottawa? I mean, a lot of people, you're from a big city, you hung out in Detroit all the time, the rough streets there, and I mean, why stick around in Ottawa even throughout school, or even once you decided to quit school? Why didn't you go to another big city or whatnot?
Well, obviously, when I moved here, you spend time somewhere. You spend a couple of years somewhere. You get to meet some new friends and get into something new. So it was refreshing a little bit to be in Ottawa versus hanging out in Detroit, or even at the time I was hanging out in Toronto a lot. I found Ottawa to be a step back, and a lot of people might see that as a bad thing, but I thought it was a great thing.
Yeah.
And to be honest, Ottawa 15 years ago, there was a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of things coming up in the city and a lot of new players coming up, and this seemed like a really good opportunity to do something. And I put my mark here.
Right on, that's good. Now, I know you've lived in a couple of different spots in Ottawa. I've known you for, I don't even know how long now, maybe about 10 years or so. Anyway, I know you've lived in what I used to call Alphabet City, which is over near the train yards there. You've lived downtown, and you've recently, in the last couple of years, purchased a home out in Orleans. What made you leave the downtown core, especially since you're kind of getting big here and whatnot?
And what did you like about the downtown?
Well, obviously, the best thing about living downtown and to work near where you live is to be able to walk everywhere, to have that little community feeling with the people in the neighborhood, and having the baker next door and having the butcher down the street, and all these little community things that you build, and that's great. We were living, down Cumberland near the shelter, and with the drug problem getting worse there over the last couple of years, I had a dog, and my dog and me would come out of the house. My dog would put his nozzle in recycling. There'd be syringes there. I had to pull the dog back. And one day we went to get the mail in the mailbox, pull the mail out, a syringe falls out of that. It's just like, maybe it's time to exit strategy and leave downtown. So, we love downtown. We hang out downtown all the time, obviously. But as me and my wife were coming together and thinking long-term and thinking family and all that stuff, it just made sense for us to buy our first home and move out of
there. How are you liking Orleans now then?
It's nice.
Are you getting used to having to drive a little more to get to
the commute's not a problem because my hours with retail aren't like the government hours, so I get to leave after and come home after, so there's no issue for driving. But you do have a loss of community feel out there.
Yeah.
I feel every strip mall is the same strip mall that you would see outside of any suburb in any city in Ontario, with your basic Home Depot, them.
Yeah.
So there's not much, but again, I see that as opportunity, and I think it's a matter of time before people who own businesses downtown or in Ottawa are going to see the opportunity to, hey, I should open up a second restaurant out there. There's such a big community of people, and they don't all want to eat at Montana's and these kind of places.
Exactly. You know? And I know Jamie Kwong, who is helping run the Ottawa Chamber, or the Chamber of Commerce for Orleans, is doing so much work, and they're creating such a close-knit community of businesses and restaurant owners, and they're trying to create that feeling. So I think within the next couple of years, you're going to see a lot of differences, a lot more family-owned businesses, a lot more people networking now.
I think that's great. That's what we need.
Yeah, for sure.
And it makes you feel like home.
Yeah.
So I know you meet quite a few people from different cities. I know you're constantly traveling. You got to. Obviously, with the store, you got to look at different brands out there, and you go and visit these people. And you have a lot of them come into town here. So friends and family that visit, what are some spots that you like to take them to in Ottawa here that other people might not know about? What are some hidden gems? What do you like to do? Restaurants or bars or
drinks and food is my life. If I'm not working, those are the two things, my two passions. So me and my wife are constantly looking for who's doing something new, and we love to explore and be part of that. So
what are a few of your
one of my favorite right now is Back Lane Cafe down on Wellington. I think is a really great spot for food.
Is that in Hindenburg? That's
in Hindenburg. Yeah. There's a bunch of new spots there. It's really coming together.
Yeah. I've been going there quite a bit actually recently.
Definitely.
It seems to be my hot spot.
Yeah, it's just like there seems to be a buzz in that neighborhood and in Westboro as well, and that's kind of what led us to say, hey, we want to plant our flag there too and do something out there and be part of that.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a lot closer for you to get to that restaurant.
Well, exactly.
And all the other ones.
And like I said, it's just a bit of a buzz because it feels good to see so many young people doing stuff and exploring new things and taking a chance.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Westfest's grand opening where they announced the acts is actually this Friday at 10 a.m. if you want to come to that. That's at the Clock Tower. I'll be there for sure.
Sounds good.
Because you're probably going to be a big part of that.
Yeah, well, that's going to be fun this year to be part of it. The last couple of years we went.
Oh, you have done.
We've gone as attendees, as community people, do the walk, whatever, have a nice tea, and get a couple beers after. This year we get to participate in it, and we've already been talking about it with my team, saying, okay, we have a great spot. We're right in the heart of it, basically. We're right by the works and all these great partners. What are we going to do? We have to have fun with it. I want to run with it this year, So we're brainstorming some good ideas to participate.
That's great. So hopefully we see you down. So just so you can connect with some of the other store owners
exactly.
and anything like that early on. I think that'd be an excellent idea.
Right on. So Norwell's been around for a while now. It went through some changes. Everyone probably remembers when it was beside Lush right in the market.
It smelled great then.
It did. I remember you'd pick up clothes and you'd never want to wash them for the first month because
people's
still
closets
like
were
Lush.
naturally scented for a few months after that.
So how long has it been then?
We moved out of the market three and a half years ago now, so we've been on Rideau Street since then.
Sweet. But since you opened in...
15 years total now.
15 years total, eh?
Yeah.
Right on. So obviously you've expanded quite a bit since that's happened. I know you've hit, and obviously the internet's became huge since then too. So maybe talk a little bit about that. I know you have an online store now, and you're now your flagship store here right on Rideau that has blown up over the last couple of years. So maybe talk a bit about that progression.
Well, with Rideau Street, we just got a lot more exposure. First off, being in the transit hub area, there's just so many more people that saw us. We had a chance to really expose ourselves to the wider community.
How did you come to this location?
Just
came up on
fluke of luck. Yeah,
fluke of luck. That's
our lease was coming up for renewal. The rent was going up. We decided to explore some options, and I met a landlord here who was just the sweetest man, and the partnership started right off the bat on a good foot, and one thing led to another, and here we are. So that exposed us, within our community, within Ottawa. The online platform really helped us get worldwide recognition.
When did the online platform debut?
I'm going to say about 18 months ago is when it really started taking off. We have our own team for that here in-house. So what people don't know when they come to Normal is that we have a third floor in the building, and up here we have a photo studio. We have a full online team. There's a lot of operations happening behind the scenes that no one really sees from the main floor here. So the online store is its own entity. We're shipping product worldwide every day. It's crazy. I got notifications on my phone every time it beeps. Someone's buying something in Japan and Russia and Paris. And
Japan. You get every single.
Yeah, I get every. I love having it.
That is cool to see.
Yeah.
A bit of a sneaker pimp, eh? I have to say that. Is Normal still known, not solely obviously, but mainly for your shoes?
I like what you did there.
Yeah, like that, eh?
Yeah. You plugged it. So I think that's one of our biggest assets we have for the online store. We were talking a little bit earlier. Normal's been selected and partnered with Nike and Jordan as a pinnacle account.
This is something to get excited for.
Absolutely, this is something we strive for a long time.
Well, you had flown out there last week. That's why we.
That's why we had to reschedule the show. We're working with them on a regular basis. Last year, we designed 2 shoes with Nike. They got a limited release. So first time I put my DNA on a footwear shoe, which is amazing. It's my dream. So
how many shoes did they make?
24 of each.
24
so
of each.
very, very limited run for an event in Ottawa only. So
wow.
and now we're working on bigger projects. Now working with this Pinnacle group, and with Adidas, we're part of a consortium group, 35 accounts in the world. They fly us all in. We get to talk, meet, discuss. Where sneakers are going. We get to put our input on what the designers are going to be putting out the following year.
When you're doing your project back in third year university, do you ever see something flown out to Adidas or Nike?
Definitely not. It's definitely beyond anything, and it's amazing.
Wow. When you bought this store, did you buy this? This is a large area. Did you buy this all in the first one, or did you expand?
No, we bought the whole thing in one shot.
Bought the whole thing and then expanded from that.
Exactly.
Excellent. How many employees do you have now? How many did you have at the start, and then how many?
I'd say we started maybe 6-7 employees, and now with this new store opening up, we're about 45. Probably going to be getting closer to 50 as things operate and move on.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's quite a big growth. Yeah.
That's awesome. So what about, you said 15 years ago you saw a lot of things up and coming and changing in Ottawa. Now, obviously a smaller city, you could, you'd think most cities can only sustain so many of one style. What kind of set Normal apart from, say any other street store that was around sort of thing?
Well, 15 years ago, I don't think there was anyone really doing street in Ottawa. You either had your chain stores in the mall, that were doing some urban stuff, but mixed with their footwear and whatnot.
Or like snowboarding, skateboarding.
Like Athlete's World, stuff like that. Guys like that were doing that kind of mix, with Echo and whatever these old hip-hop brands that existed at the time. And then you had your skate stores in Ottawa that were true core skate stores, that still are. And there was no one bridging that gap between the two worlds. The young skater kid at the time was listening to hip-hop, but didn't want to wear his big baggy clothes and the world that they were doing. And there was definitely a niche market between the two that we were witnessing traveling. In Toronto, the Vice magazine had a store back then on Queen Street. And, we go to Paris, we go to New York, go to cities, and you saw that bridge had already been established in those cities. In Ottawa, that bridge wasn't established at the time. So we came together, we brought a few worlds together from break dancing to hip hop to music to house music and dance. So we brought all those worlds together under one roof and made it sustainable.
That's awesome.
Awesome. So we're going to play one song, next song from ilvekyo. ilvekyo, great name, great name for a band. That will be catchy.
Tongue twister.
The second song is going to be called Mother. So we'll be back with you in just a moment. And thank you so much for listening. Keep here after the break.
About the people I love. I wish the clocks had no numbers and there was no such thing as miles or kilometers, and that space would not decay us or sway us from believing me when I say, who's the one who told me not to cry? My mother. And who's the one who always stand beside each other? We don't need no worry, no, don't need no
was an excellent track. Thank you so much.
That was a good one.
Ilvekyo, that song was Mother. So,
yeah, we're back here with Yan again from Normal. So you got some big things happening. That's why I was really glad that we could get you on the show. I know that, and I hate bringing this up because we're going to talk about it now, but it is March Madness starting. I know that all three of us here are pretty big basketball fans.
who are you taking?
It's hard to... I know everyone's going Gonzaga all the way, and I kind of wanted to cheer for that one Canadian kid. And
There's two Canadian kids.
Well, the two Canadian. I only like the one. How's that?
Okay.
But I have them in my bracket going all the way. But I don't know. I always like to root for the underdogs, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, we want to talk a little bit more about Normal. Yan, you got a new store opening up, and that hopefully it should be open. I think you said potentially Saturday.
Yeah, this Saturday. If everything lines up properly the next couple of days and we get to fine tune it, we'll be opening up Saturday. We're excited to kick it off on the weekend.
I know that you've been looking forward to opening up another store for at least a year or two now. What made you choose Westboro now over you could have opened up in a Glebe perhaps or New Edinburgh or other up and coming areas? Why Westboro?
I think the type of store we're trying to put together, I think it really reflects what's going on in Westboro currently. I think there's a good opportunity for us to be there.
So this Normal store, it's not going to be a complete duplicate from the one
it's
that
not
we,
a duplicate
see
at
downtown?
all. There'll be very little actually of brands carried over that we'll have at both stores. We really worked hard this year on establishing new relationships, finding new partners for that store. And it's kind of a continuation of where Normal is. So Normal downtown, for years has been known as a bit younger demographic, a little bit more street. And what we found over the years is that a lot of our guys or a lot of our girls would come to the store, would follow us for a few years, love it, and then they would kind of grow out of it a little bit and see the younger kid come in and be like, well, I don't really fit in the store anymore, or I've kind of grown out of it. Sure, I'll come back at my sneakers once in a while, but the day-to-day operations, not really into it anymore. So we try to figure out, that happens to us personally too. I'm in my 30s now,
older, unfortunately,
and I kind of want to dress differently myself, and I'm kind of into some new things myself. So this gave us an opportunity to explore a new market. It's kind of the way I like to explain it is the graduation of Normal. Someone who's been with us for a long time has kind of seen some of the new ideas and brands that are out there through the eyes of Normal, and now we can explore them and do them and present them over there.
That's awesome. I think that's an amazing idea.
What are some of the new brands that you're going to be? Can you release those yet? Or
yeah, sure. There's a handful. We're trying to find stuff that people either heard of. We're trying to find exclusive stuff. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, that's one thing I know you've always been good at is that if other stores in town are carrying a lot of these products, you're not selling them.
We're trying to avoid that. Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's what sets you apart, right?
Exactly. So we've traveled a lot of shows, especially shows in Europe, looking for these brands, and we're trying to establish new distribution channels that weren't in place before. So, for example, there's a Woolrich brand from the U.S. It's a traditional 100-year-old brand, and we wanted to work with them for a long time, get their outerwear. They never worked in Canada before. This fall will be the first time they work in Canada, and we're their partner for that.
You're the exclusive partner for that?
For Ottawa. There's a few of us across Canada that have been pooling our interests together and kind of talking to them and kind of opening the door and having something new come
out. You met
out.
with these people through other trade shows.
Exactly.
These other trendy
There's other one. It's called Walkabout. It's a footwear line. It's the oldest footwear line in North America. They've been around since 1758. Every piece is handmade. There's something like 40 people that touch one shoe by hand before it's finished.
And that's still done now?
Yeah, it's still done now that way.
That's amazing.
This is an insane story. So, the price point's a little bit different. The exclusivity is there with it. But I think it's something that crosses over from, young man, young woman who wants to look sharp, go out. Or you could even tie it into workwear a little bit. There's a lot of ways you could present it.
Well, that's good. I mean, especially someone in my business. If you go in my house, I have two completely separate wardrobes. I mean, I have my business attire and then, my normal everyday clothing sort of thing. And that'd be great if I can finally start
merging them
mixing
together.
them a little bit together.
Exactly.
That'd be awesome.
It's gold mine.
So let's also talk. Recently, you've started Normal Femme. I know you have that going now, and I believe you have a children's line coming out as well.
Yeah.
So, what brought those about? I mean, obviously, I know you've got a little girl at home now, so that's...
So that definitely weighs on my brain, and we find ways to make it work for us instead of against us, right? So my wife came on to the store about 18 months ago.
Yeah.
Her name's Rocio. When Rocio came on to the store, she brought a lot of backbone and a lot of structure to help us reformulate Normal and help grow the business, you know.
As they always do.
Yeah, so it's amazing, right?
And she had hopped a little bit off, helped out a little bit here and there with shopping.
Well, for years before that, she was a women's buyer. She just had another career and was doing, you know, trying to juggle two things at once. Now she realized that it was a good enough opportunity to leave her previous job, come work at Normal, put her own DNA on a Normal brand by creating Normal Femme. So Normal Femme, you know, on Rideau Street, it's a complete different look than the rest of the store.
Yeah,
it's definitely a lot sharper, a lot more elegant. We're really happy on how it turned out. And she extends this look, you know, further into Westboro for the young woman. You know, it's beautiful what she's doing over there.
Awesome.
And as well, now we're starting kids wear, you know, children's wear. Obviously, when you have a child at home, you think about it. You're around it a lot more. You see it. You get to see what's available in your community too. So
you get to see what kind of things they like. You know, what am I liking right now? Am I like gosh? I don't know.
And it's true, like you said, we're like, you know, we're growing up, and you have to adapt.
But we're traveling too, right? So we're traveling with her around the world, and we're going to places, and it's like, in Ottawa, you have your Baby Gap, and in this store, and this store, and this store, and there's not really much variety, you know? So we definitely sourced a bunch of brands from Sweden, from Spain, from Japan. So we're going to have a bunch of stuff that no one has in the city, and definitely there's a lot of young parents there who want to dress their kid up. Right? Yeah, exactly.
Kids are going to be looking fresh.
Absolutely.
Sorry, go ahead, Nick.
No, I was going to say another thing you like to do, your initiatives around you have the annual jacket drive.
Yeah, every winter we, you know, for the last over 10 years now, we've done a jacket drive where we throw an event in Ottawa. And
always at Babylon or sometimes at Babylon?
We rotated the destination a few times. It's mostly been at Babylon, but what we try to do is, you know, it's a high ticket price item for the guy coming off the street, but we give an initiative that bring an old recycled coat to us, you get a free ticket. And then we get to, you know, pool all these jackets together and go work with a partner in the city and go drop off 200 winter coats when they need it the most, right around Christmas time, which is amazing. So the last few years we partnered up with the Youth Services Bureau. They have a location around the corner from us at Rideau, and you know the smiles on their face when we walk in with 200 coats is unreal.
Oh, for sure.
Hopefully you do a lot more of that in the future.
Absolutely.
Well, let's talk. Something I wanted to talk about. Obviously, with fashion, it's pretty much ever changing. How do you stay on top of your game? I mean, as you said, you know, you're not in high school anymore, so you're not really seeing firsthand what kids are experiencing. So how do you stay on top of this really competitive industry?
Yeah, first and foremost, travel. You know, traveling and seeing what's happening in other places sets a tone for what's coming to Ottawa eventually. You know, and if it's not coming to Ottawa, we're bringing it to Ottawa, which just excites everybody. You know, we're doing something new that's not been done. Other than that, I dedicate a lot of time online. I'm on
Instagram
blogs.
must work as well, because
amazing.
Instagram, you can just follow a bunch of people in different cities.
Absolutely. I'm addicted to Instagram right now.
That's the only, like, I'm pretty hooked on my BlackBerry, and I'm not planning on changing, but I do miss out on this Instagram that everybody's talking about.
Yeah.
I never get to see pictures.
That's why you get the iPad.
Yeah, maybe.
Come on.
We'll see.
Or to get two phones.
All right. Everybody listening, I'm going to have him with an iPad within a couple of weeks. I guarantee it. I know.
Apple, send me one.
I was going to say that. If you're listening.
Anyways, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for having us here.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry if there was a buzz in the background. We're on Rideau. There's a bunch of hydro workers working outside right now. But thank you so much to Tim Duncan and the boys from Bose, girls as well.
Thank you.
Thanks for sponsoring us. We're drinking the Beaver River, the 5.6% IPA. It's excellent beer. So tomorrow we will have another. This is a special week where we have 2 interviews. We're going to have Chef Carmichael, who has opened up the new restaurant on Elgin Street. You might know him from such places as Social, winning multiple awards. Doing the pop-up restaurant on Mellows. Did you go there?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
That was amazing.
It's amazing. And we also have Mike and Sharif from Creative Mornings Ottawa, which if you don't know about it, you're going to know tomorrow. It's an excellent community event that happens monthly that you learn so much about the creative people in this city. So we're going to end with one final song. The final song is called Judge. It's from Ilvekyo. So check them out at Blues Fest and have a great day. Thank you.
Later.
the sleepless nights and the better days gone